In America, we never technically own property.
Welcome to my channel, Clark the Realtor. Don't forget to subscribe and let's get started.
What's going on, guys? So today you are going to be a part of a ride along with me. I'm actually going to an educational class for real estate. If you guys don't know, in real estate we have continuing education classes. They're called CE classes, in which we continue to learn about different things in the business, because we know, through time things change. Historically, everything doesn't remain the same. But nonetheless, today this video is going to be about owning and renting in 2024. Before we get into the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and put your notification bell on to be alerted whenever new videos get uploaded to this channel, and let's jump into it. Let's have a conversation around renting versus owning. I had this conversation the other day with a gentleman at the gym. And so everything I usually talk about on this channel is circumstances that I've been through, that I've had conversations with people, or things that, like I said, I've experienced as a realtor in this business. Nonetheless, we had a conversation. He came up to me and he was asking me in regards to renting. He was like, he currently rents now, and he was saying, I really want to buy a house, but does it make sense for me to buy a house with these soaring home prices and these high interest rates? But us having that conversation, this is what I typically tell people, right? I say it all depends on your finances, right? It all depends on what you want your monthly mortgage to look like. Yes, is it harder now to buy a house than back in, let's say, the 90s or the 80s or even the early 2000s? It is harder. Are home prices higher? Yes. Is the interest rates not really high, but high enough to cause a big impact during your monthly down payment? Yes. So this is what I basically told the young man, right? I said, again, it depends on where you want to be at in regards to your monthly mortgage. If you know that you only want to do, let's say, $1,800 a month for for your mortgage, then you need to find a home at a price level that allows you that $1,800 a month for your mortgage, right? Because at the end of the day, I know everybody wants to live this HGTV style, home style lifestyle, whatever. However, everybody can't afford HGTV money, right? So you have to start somewhere. The difference is with owning and renting. So let's kind of break these down, right? When you rent, you don't have no responsibility as far as to take care of the maintenance of your house, right? You don't have to go and mow the lawn, do lawn care. You don't have to worry about if an HVAC breaks or a water heater breaks or your roof collapses or anything happens like that. You reach out to your local leasing office, you ask for your maintenance men to come, and they come and fix it. When they come and fix it, I don't know, because sometimes just because you rent don't mean that everybody is on a schedule as far as your time. So it might be times where you might be in an apartment where you might have a hole in your ceiling that's leaking water, and it might take them a month or two to come and fix that crap. Unless you decide you're going to pay an outside person, and then hopefully you get reimbursed for said, repairs that you make. However, when you do own, all those repairs go on to you as an owner, right? You have to then call the outside repair company, whether it be the roofer, whether it be an HVAC guy, whether it be plumbing, electrical. You have to then call those people, right, to make sure I'm like, it look like I got a hole in my in my beard. But you have to then call those people and make sure they come and service your stuff. And typically they'll come sooner than later. But again, it all depends on their schedule. If they are heavily booked, they might come at a later time, right? However, those repairs are solely on you. Unlike you renting, those repairs are on the management company, right? The other thing that's different with owning and renting is that when you own something, you can basically create the inside of the house any way you like, right? You can decorate it any way you like. And you can do similar things with renting, right? However, there are restrictions which you would have to then reach out. Well, I would tell people to reach out to your leasing office and say if you can do X, Y, and Z. Or the owner of the property, if you're renting from somebody like a private landlord or something, you would typically want to reach out to them and get clearance and approval to do X, Y, and Z. A lot of people don't do that. Some renters just go and just start going buck wild, thinking it's their house. Again, if you're going to think it's your house, you might as well just own, right? And I get everybody cannot afford to own, especially in this market. Back then, people could afford to own. The mortgage was either lower than a rent or it was just as much as the rent, so people decided to own. The only difference of owning back then and still today is that you had to come down with this, initial hefty payment, and most people cannot afford to save in an economy where incomes are not going up. And even back then, incomes did increase a little bit. However, people still had other duties to attend to, so they couldn't afford to save in order to actually get a sufficient down payment to put on their house, even though they do have down payment assistance programs and all that stuff. But there are qualifiers for some of these programs as far as your credit score and different things like that. And some people might not have the correct credit score at the moment to qualify for these payment programs. Let's kind of break it down like this, right? So no one in America ever owns property. No one. Even corporations, even landlords that you rent from, even you as a homeowner, you never own property in America, because you can own the property, but you don't own the land in which the property is on. So at the end of the day, even though you pay off your mortgage as a homeowner, you still will always have to pay your annual taxes, property taxes, right? You'll always, if you're in an HOA community, you'll always have to pay your HOA fees. And then you always want to keep your home insurance. You want to have home insurance in case your house should catch on fire or anything should happen, right? So you want to keep that. Do you need to keep it after you pay your mortgage off on your home? No, you don't have to, because the home insurance is there for the protection, ideally, of the lender. They want to make sure the home is insured in case anything happens. You as a homeowner want the home insurance in case anything happens too. You want to be able to get your home fixed if you can and recover any type of damage that happened inside your house, as far as when it comes to monetary value. So you want to keep that homeowner insurance. So for the rest of your life as a homeowner, you'll be paying, even when your mortgage is paid down, you'll be paying property taxes, you'll be paying homeowners insurance, and then HOA dues if you're in the HOA community. But nonetheless, so that's when it comes to owning, right? So in America, we never technically own property, all right? So at the end of the day, this is how I break it down to people who want to own versus rent, or rent versus own, right? And everybody is not made to want to own real estate. So as a realtor, my job, I don't convince people to do anything they don't want to do. I'm not a person that is just about trying to get a check and convincing you to move in so I can get a check and keep on with my life. No, I'm a realtor that likes to educate, and this is the reason why I put out videos on this channel, to allow you to make an informed decision of what you want to do when it comes to your homeownership journey or your renting journey, right? Like I told some people on a live that I did, you can negotiate your rent. Most people don't do it, but you can. Just like you can negotiate getting a house, The difference between renting and owning is like this. Even though you never technically own property, you can either choose to have an annual tax of $3,000 a year on top of your homeowner's insurance, and we're going to take HOA out of it because most people, don't want an HOA, or they might not have one. So let's just say the two basics that you'll always want to that you'll always have, right? You'll have your property taxes, and then you want your homeowner's insurance, right? So you can say, let's just say maybe for the whole year, including property and homeowner's insurance, you're about like $5,000 a year, or you can rent maybe $2,500 a month. So you times $2,500 a month, or $2,000 a month, times that by 12. If you were to rent, let's say you were renting and you were paying $2,000 a month, times that by 12, you're paying $24,000 a year. So that's really the difference, right? Do you want to pay $24,000 a year, $2,000 a month to rent, or $5,000 in regards to like owning a property every time throughout your whole life? Because we typically know rent goes up, so you'll continuously pay for the rent, and it'll increase every year. Whereas when you own, you can pay your mortgage off, and in turn, you're just paying your basic property taxes and your home insurance for the rest of your life. Even though technically, if you're renting, you're paying for the rest of your life, right? So you just have to understand what makes sense to you. Like, again, everybody doesn't want to rent. So everybody doesn't want to own. So renting is okay for some people. You just have to understand, real estate to me is like a big calculations. It's like it's a math situation, right? You have to figure out, you have to sit down and say, okay, if I'm paying $2,000 a month, times that by 12 months, that's $24,000 a year. Would I rather pay X, Y, and Z to my mortgage, get my mortgage paid completely off, and then for the rest of my life just pay, let's say, $5,000? And we do know that property taxes do go up, so they don't typically increase that much. However, they can increase a couple $100s, depending on where you're at and how homes are selling around you. But you want to have a kind of a level off thing with the property taxes and situation outside of the rent that will typically go up. every year. And some rental places, unless it's a rental cap, some rental places have a certain increase amount that they kind of go every year. So that's really the difference, right? And being able to own, you can actually pull, once your home gets that equity, you can pull that equity out and you can do things with that equity. You can make repairs to your home. You can, pay off some debt with that equity. But when you're renting, you can't pull any equity because you don't own it, right? So those are some of the differences when it comes to renting versus owning. And also in 2024, I know it is very difficult for you guys to be able to own right now because the mortgage is higher than the typical rent. However, if it's something that you genuinely want to do, I say keep going for it, save up for it, and make it happen. If you have any qualms in regards to renting versus owning and vice versa, put it in the comments below. Let's spark a discussion around this. My name is Devon Clark. I am a realtor in the Metro Atlanta area. If you need any advice or any information around real estate or just have some questions you want to ask, you can reach out to me. My email is dclarktherealtor@gmail.com. Also, if you need a realtor referral in your state, in your city, you can reach out as well. I can refer you to any realtor worldwide as long as they have a connection towards my brokerage. Nonetheless, take care. I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.